Alexander the Great, born in 356, is the most renowned military commander of all time. He was born in Pella, Macedonia, and he created one of the largest empires in ancient world. He was the son of already celebrated King Philip II, who had transformed Macedonia into a military power and united ancient Greece. Alexander was tutored by the famous philosopher Aristotle, who shaped his intellect and interest in philosophy, science, and literature. King Philip II had a dream to conquer Persian Empire after uniting Greece after a series of battles except the Sparta region, but was assassinated just some days before. Alexander inherited both throne and ambition to conquer Persian Empire from his father, but had to fight internal revolts to claim the kingship from potential rivals. After claiming throne by taking out potential rivals and internal revolts in Thessaly and totally burning down the city Thebes for resisting heavily to set an example. After taking control of all Greece except Sparta, Alexander set out for the journey to conquer Persian Empire. In 334 BC, Alexander marched into Persian territory and met Persian Empire on the river of Granicus, in Battle of Granicus, where Alexander, through his strategic brilliance, targeted Persian leadership and created chaos in their ranks and decisively defeated Persian army that was almost double the size, and completely surrounded Greek mercenaries and killed them for betrayal, and the Persian army fled the battle in chaos, leaving Asia Minor in Alexander's control, marking the first decisive victory of Alexander's campaign. Before marching deeper into Persian Empire, Alexander moved to naval bases of Persian Empire in Miletus and Halicarnassus near Greek coast, and destroyed naval fleet to prevent any possible naval attack on Greece by Persian navy. After taking Lydia and Lycia and in Phrygia and its capital Gordium, Alexander moved to Cilicia where he met Persian army, led by King Darius III himself, near mountains of Nor. In 333 BC, in most significant conflict, Battle of Issus, King Darius III himself led the Persian army, including infantry, cavalry, and mercenaries, almost double the size of Alexander's army. One more time, Alexander, through his military and tactical genius, recognized narrow terrain and positioned the army in phalanx strategically that neutralized Persian forces' superior number. This swift attack of Alexander left Persian army in disarray, and King Darius, watching this collapse, had to retreat and eventually fled the battlefield, resulting in major Macedonian victory. After the major victory in Battle of Issus, Macedonian army became invincible and marched along the Mediterranean Sea, and many cities surrendered without a fight along the way except the island of Tyre, which resisted. Alexander built a massive causeway to breach the defense of island and conquered and burned down the city. After the siege of Troy, Gaza resisted too, and taken by siege. Alexander continued to Egypt, where the Persian governor surrendered to Alexander, and priests of Memphis welcomed Alexander as the liberator from Persian rule and crowned him pharaoh. Alexander formed the city in the mouth of the Nile, Alexandria, then traveled to North Africa in city of Siwa, where priests welcomed him as the son of Ammonius, king of the kings. Then returned to Tyre, where he heard the news of revolt back in Greece by Sparta, that he crushed with the Macedonian army. After taking full control of Greece, Alexander quickly headed towards the Gaugamela, when he heard the Persian army is assembling for the decisive battle, led by King Darius III himself, with superior number especially with his chariots and cavalry in plain terrain of modern-day Iraq. But Alexander, through his tactical brilliance, once again neutralized the superior numbered Persian army, defeated them, and King Darius again fled the battlefield. This defeat put the last nail in the coffin of mighty Persian Empire and morale of Persian army, left with no effective resistance. While King Darius, in hiding, Alexander, headed towards the capital of Persian Empire, Babylon, entered as a triumph and recognized as the rightful ruler of Persian Empire. Then to important city of Susa, where Alexander officially took the throne of Persian Empire in ceremony, and then to the city of Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of Persian Empire, and burned down the city as retribution for burning of Athens by Persian Empire in 480 BC. When he heard the presence of King Darius in city of Ecbatana, he quickly marched towards province of Media and hoped to capture Darius, But King Darius again tried to fled but was murdered by his own governor, Bessus, and claimed himself the new ruler of Persian Empire. Alexander, furious by the action of Bessus, gave order to bury King Darius to be buried in royal tomb alongside his ancestors in Persepolis, and paused for a while to organize the conquered empire and appointed viceroys to rule the provinces on his behalf from both Greece and Persia, who sworn loyalty to him. Then headed towards east and faced resistance in Frada. Also founded cities along the way like Alexandria Ariana and Alexandria Arachosia. He then marched towards Kunduz, where Bessus was handed over to him in chains by his own men, and Alexander executed him as a kingslayers. Then after conquering Bactria and then Maracanda, Alexander marched to the edge of Persian Empire and founded the city Alexandria Escate, meaning Alexandria the furthest. When heard of revolts in Bactria, he returned and burned down the city and married Roxana, daughter of Bactrian lord that ended revolts, and then marched towards east, modern-day Pakistan. And after conquering Massaga and Taxila, modern-day Islamabad, Alexander faced one of the toughest resistance by King Porus near modern-day Jhelum, Pakistan. In Battle of Hydaspes, King Porus wore elephants, inflicted huge damage to Macedonian army, but Alexander, after a fierce battle, at last won and took over Punjab. But Alexander's army refused to go further in east. After almost a decade, the Macedonian army is tired and wanted to go home. Alexander and his army then followed the Indus River on the way south in Battle of the Malian city in 325 BC. Alexander got wounded severely and nearly got killed. Then upon reaching south, discovered Arabian Sea, from where most of his army went back on ships, but Alexander himself led rest of the army through Jidraja region, modern-day southern Pakistan. Upon reaching Persia, he executed many of his viceroys and governors from Iskandar for ruling unjustly in his absence, and then reached Babylon. In Babylon, he met with emissaries from different regions including Ethiopians, Gaul, Iberians, Libyans, and Scythians who recognized his brilliance. He planned his next campaign in Arabia, but developed sudden fever and died few days later, just at the age of 32. His cause of death remained a mystery till today. Was it malaria, cholera, or poison? His corpse was sent back to Greece, but was hijacked in the way, and it is thought to be buried in Alexandria, in Egypt, but exact location is still unknown and remained a mystery. Alexander died undefeated. Alexander was fearless, courageous, and bold leader with great intellect, vision, and tactical brilliance. After his death, the empire was divided among his generals, and his wife Roxana and his son were killed, so no rightful successor left. Very few men had such a great impact such as Alexander the Great, who through his visionary leadership, military genius, and his legacy as a cultural unifier, ruled the largest empire of the ancient time, stretching from Greece to Pakistan, and despite short life, he is remembered as the greatest military commander of all time.